There was a boy called Jack, and he was called Lazy Jack or Idle Jack because he didn't like to do any work. And he lived in a house with his mother, and all they had in all of this world was a cow that was called Milky White, and it would give them thick, rich, creamy milk. And his mother would shout up, "Jack, you've got to go and do some work now." But Jack would just turn over in his bed, and up she'd shout again, "Jack, you've got to go and do some work now." But when she looked at him, and she could show him that look that only mothers can, he knew he would have to get out of work. But one day when she shouted up, she said, "Jack, Milky White won't give us no milk. You've got to take her all the way to market." When Jack heard this, he was very, very sad. That would mean a lot of work, having to walk all of the way along the road to go to the market to sell Milky White the cow. But the way that his mother looked at him, and the way that mothers can, he knew that he had to do it. He took hold of the rope around its neck and started to walk with the saddest face you ever did see along the road. And when he got to a corner of the road, well, who did he meet but an old man dressed all in green, with a green hat on his head, green shirt on his back, green trousers on his legs and green shoes. He looked and he said, "That looks like a very good cow that you've got there. I've got something inside of this bag that will keep you rich till the end of your days." Oh, Jack thought. Gold, silver, diamonds, anything. Oh, it would be good not to have to walk all of the way to market. And without even thinking, he handed over the rope that held the cow and grabbed hold of the bag. He could feel something small inside. He thought, "Oh, it's definitely going to be gold and silver and diamonds." But when he opened up and looked inside, well, all he could see were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beans. Beans! What was he going to do? How was he going to tell his mother? He looked this way and that to try and find the old man dressed all in green, but he'd gone. And so had the cow. And all he had to show was a bag of beans. His mother was waiting by the door. "Well, Jack, what you got for Milky White? Oh, a cow, eh? What you got?" Jack took the bag, shook and shivered and quaked and quivered as he handed it over. She could feel that there was something. "Is it gold?" Jack shook his head. "Must be silver." He shook his head. "Diamonds, that's what you've got." But when she looked inside and saw that all that was inside were beans, she yelled, "Beans, you stupid boy!" And she sent him straight to bed without any supper. She took those 5 magic beans, for that's what they were. She took them and threw them out of the window, and that night the rain came down, and in the morning the sun shone, and the beanstalk, the beans grew taller and right up to the clouds and looked almost like a ladder up to the sky. And when Jack woke up, his bedroom was bathed in a green light, for the sun was shining through one of the leaves that was as big as a counterpane. And he didn't wait. He just started to climb up the beanstalk. His mother shouted, "Jack, you be careful!" But he climbed and he climbed and he climbed and he climbed, and when he got past the clouds, he saw that there was a road, and he walked and he walked and he walked till he came to where there was a castle, and he knocked upon the door of the castle, and the castle door creaked open. There stood a giant of a woman. She looked all around. "Who's there? Who's there?" Jack was so small to her that he looked up to her and went, "Please let me in." The old woman looked down. "Oh, if my husband finds you inside of here, he'll have you for his breakfast. You'd better go." "Oh, please let me in." The giant woman was kind. She let him come in. She sat him down. But just as he'd sat down, he heard thump, 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 thump. The giant's wife said, "Quick, go and hide in the oven." And Jack ran and hid inside of the oven and could just peep through by the side of the door. And just in time as the door opened up, there stood the giant with dark, green, greasy hair, a long, filthy beard, and he sniffed the air and went, "3, 5, 4, thump. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Oh, don't be so silly," said the giant's wife. "Go and sit down and I'll bring you your supper." Without a word of please or thank you, he took that supper and he didn't use a knife or a fork. He just stuffed it inside of his mouth. And the food dribbled down inside of his beard, and then he looked at his wife and said, Wife, bring me my coins." Jack was very interested when he heard coins. She brought a bag as big as this room and put it down on the table, and the giant started to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He fell asleep, resting his head on top of the coins, and the bag was still there. Jack was frightened, but he crept out of the oven, ran over, grabbed hold of the bag, put it on his back, and he ran right out of the castle. And he climbed and he climbed and he climbed and he climbed, and when he got to the bottom of the beanstalk, his mother looked at him and said, "Well, what you got in there then?" He handed the bag to his mother. She looked inside. This time she didn't scream bean. She went, "Gold, you clever boy! You brought us all gold!" And Jack and his mother could have lived very well with the gold. But Jack was a curious boy. And he climbed and he climbed and he climbed and he climbed right up to the top of the beanstalk again. And he walked along the road till he came to the castle, and he knocked upon the door and it creaked open. And there stood the giant's wife. "Who's there? Who's there?" Jack once again took a big deep breath and went, "Please let me in." And she looked down and says, "Oh, the last time I let a little boy inside of here," for she didn't recognise him, "last time I let a little boy inside of here, he stole our coins and my husband was ever so angry. Oh, please let me in." She was a kindly soul. She let him come in. She sat him down, and just as he was about to eat, they heard thump, 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 thump. She said, "Quick, go and hide." And Jack hid without her pointing where the oven was, and he peeped out of the door just in time for the door creaked open, and there stood the giant with his greasy green hair and his long, thick, dirty beard, and he sniffed the air and 3, 5, 4, 5. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. "Oh, don't be so silly," said the giant's wife.